Live from the studios of CK12 here in beautiful Palo Alto, California. It's getting started with FlexBooks in the 2.0 platform. I'm Carl, a member of the CK12 team, and today I'm joined by Lindsay. Together, we will help you through what is the most exciting educational platform out there. We are so glad that you've joined us and are participating in our CK12 Certified Educator Program.
Whew, thanks, Carl. I don't know if he's auditioning for a podcast or a studio movie role, but that got us off to a start here. I do want to thank everybody who's joined us today. We are coming to you from Palo Alto, California. Welcome to week 2 of the live sessions for the Certified Educator Program. We've built this program for educators who want to go deeper with CK12 and really become experts at using our platform to make teaching easier and personalize the learning experience for students. Since a lot of people are joining us today for the first time, I know some people took sessions last week and you're finishing up this week, but a lot of people today with these getting started sessions are new, so I do want to go through a few requirements. I apologize if you've already heard this several times, but for all of you new folks, hopefully this is some good information for you. To become CK12 certified, we need you to watch our on-demand sessions. So we launched the first on-demand session on July 1st. It is available to you in our CEP 2019 book, and you are able to watch a series of videos that will help you learn about this program and also get more comfortable navigating the CK12 website. So watch the first one if you haven't already, and then the second session called Beyond the CK12 Certified Educator Program will be available this Friday. We post that at the conclusion of all of our live sessions. You'll have until January 31st to watch all of these sessions and do the assignments. So we've got the on-demand ones, and then you should be registered for 5 live sessions if you're trying to get certified. This counts as one of them. We keep your Zoom record of attendance and we match it with your assignment completion. You will need to complete the 5 matching assignments for the live sessions and then the 2 assignments for the on-demand sessions. After that, you're going to complete a final form to request your certification. We match all of the records, and if everything jives here, then you become a CK12 certified educator. If you are still needing to join our certified educator class, this is the code that you will need to join that class. We sent this to you via email a few times. You can also just go to CK12 once you're signed in, go up to classes, and then join a class using this code. If you're already in, then no action item here. Once you are in our class, over to the left side, one of the menu options says shared resources, and that's what you'll select to be able to access our program book. Our FlexBook houses a lot of resources, and it does house all of the assignments. So you will want to navigate there. For instance, that first on-demand session, you could go to that section of the FlexBook using the table of contents. And then once you're there, you'll want to scroll through that page. You'll watch the video. And then we do post all of the questions we're going to ask you in our quiz right there in the pages. It's no mystery what you're going to be asked once you start your quiz. Our system calls it a quiz. We're just calling them assignments. But make sure that you're comfortable with all the questions before you start, because once you start the quiz, you can't stop and return to it. You can't pause in the middle or anything like that. So make sure you're prepared for it. Just a note about scores too. We're not looking for perfection. It's okay if you occasionally miss a question or two, and it might even be our system's fault. We are trying out a new open response question type during this program, and we think we've put in a lot of parameters that's gonna, be able to count questions correct or incorrect accurately, but occasionally our system doesn't quite get it done. So if you miss a question or two, don't worry, that's not going to make you ineligible for certification. If you miss a ton of questions because you didn't attend a session, that's when you'd want to go back and retake a quiz. Okay, at the end of your quiz, once you've done it, you will want to press the turn in teal button. It will then turn green, and you'll know that you have submitted your quiz to our CEP team. And if you need to see how you're doing, if you need to check your assignment completion, you can do so in your dashboard, again, under your classes. You can select the menu option reports, and it will show you when you turned it in and what your percentage was that was recorded. Okay, Zoom is what we're going to be using for the program. You guys are off and running with it. The key thing to remember is that the Q&A window, that is for your questions to the CK12 team. So Carl and I are going to be fielding questions live throughout this webinar, and then we have Star and Katie who are typing answers to questions as well in that Q&A window. The chat window is where we would like you to have a community conversation, which can include introducing yourself, where you're from, what you teach, and any other good information you want to share during our webinar. But the thing to remember in the chat window is that you need to send your messages to all panelists and attendees so everybody can see it. Often we just get messages sent to all panelists, and so those of us here in Palo Alto are the only ones who get to see it. But please send it to all attendees. And then kind of the last reminder here is that we have session resource pages for all of our sessions. If you're somebody who likes to print them out and write on them, you can do that. Download it to your desktop, or just know that it's there for you in the Certified Educator Program book. This is a tiny URL if you wanted a quick link to it, tinyurl.com/CK12 FlexBooks 2019. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Carl to get started with today's content.
That's fantastic. Let me just reiterate what Lindsay said there. About a third of the messages in the chat window are only sent to panelists, and I think you intended that it's for panelists and all attendees. So make sure that. I also see people leaving questions in the chat window. If you'd like us to address the question, we only address them if they're in the Q&A window. So please make that distinction. Otherwise, you might get some community responses in the chat window, but we aren't going to be answering questions from the chat window. All right, so let's get into what we're talking about today. First off, we're going to be learning how to maximize learning with the new FlexBook 2.0 platform, offering interactive, integrated, and insightful functionality, enabling a student's journey. Next, we'll talk about choosing a FlexBook 2.0. You'll see how to start with a FlexBook created by CK12 or one of our users, and also how to find and start with a blank one. After that, we'll be using and customizing a FlexBook 2.0. You'll learn how to make the best FlexBook 2.0 for your students in the correct order and with the richest content. Finally, we'll show you how to publish and share a FlexBook 2.0 to help out other educators and students around the world. Our main goal is that by the end of the session, you'll come away with a better understanding of CK12's flagship product, the FlexBook 2.0. So sit back and relax at this point. This is not a session where we expect you to be following along with your own version of the website open. You can if you want, but with a lot going on here between the Q&A window and the chat window, there's lots to do. But if you need to, just sit back and watch me demonstrate stuff for you today, because it's really important that you understand everything we can provide. So I'm so happy that so many of you have joined us today to find out about this exciting resource. As Lindsay said, we have people once again from the corners of the earth. So we really want to make sure that everyone feels welcomed, whatever time of day it is. I know I saw Tunisia in there. I know it's late at night, and some people over in Oceania where it's the morning already, where it's the future. So wherever you are, we're going to learn about FlexBooks 2.0. Over 12 years ago, CK12 changed the world with the introduction of the digital textbook called a FlexBook. Remember that back then, most classrooms didn't have computers for each student. Maybe a computer had a computer lab, but that wasn't available every day. So back then, people came to CK12, chose a FlexBook. Sometimes they customized it, and sometimes they printed it. The original FlexBook were lessons and sometimes had videos. Of course, when they got printed, the videos didn't play. As more and more classrooms had access to computers, more people started using the digital versions of our FlexBooks and some of the other digital modalities. And so in September 2018, we reimagined our resources and unified them into the FlexBook 2.0 platform. We use the word platform now because what we offer is so much more than a textbook. It's a personalized learning system that adapts to the needs and skills of each student. So we did this by bringing together the best of CK12 right into each lesson. No longer do students and teachers have to search all over the website for the best content. The FlexBook 2.0 platform is your one-stop shopping for the best content and learning experience for your students. That means that the lessons of the FlexBook 2.0 platform have videos, interactives, easy to access curated, related modalities and resources, and are groundbreaking adaptive practice. With a simplified and focused interface, students can quickly access the content and further the learning process. Lessons can offer inline questions to check for understanding during the lesson and also give students feedback. We now offer insights to help improve student learning for each student. Rather than just hearing from me about the platform, one of our teachers, Will Sappenfield, is going to share his experience to give you a first-hand testimonial about the 2.0 platform. Take it away, Will.
Hello, my name is Will Sappenfield. I'm a CK12 certified educator here in the great state of Oregon. We've got plenty of liquid sunshine for you. I switched to CK12's FlexBook 2.0 because everything was organized for me and the lesson just flowed. Previously, I was going from one item like manipulatives and practice in different spots and trying to link it all together. But in the 2.0, we were able to work through examples, do some activity-based learning. Then there would be a manipulative like the Plex right within the lesson. A little video there for some extra understanding. I love that because students that are absent have that direct instruction right within the video. So 2.0, pulling it all together, has been a great way to make my life easier and the students' learning more streamlined.
Thanks, Will. So you'll see that the FlexBook 2.0 platform improves our original FlexBooks using the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning to enable a student's personalized journey. Each lesson could be a powerful mix of content, including interactives, adaptive practice, videos, and so much more. Additionally, your students' performance is summarized and offered as teacher insights. Imagine harnessing the power of digital to improve your students' learning. That's what the FlexBook 2.0 platform does. Finally, this August, we'll be offering a PDF option for the 2.0 lessons for those that need it. Of course, our platform's digital intelligence cannot be captured into a PDF. That's why having your students access digitally is always the best option. So it's time to see the FlexBook 2.0 platform live in action. I'll show you how to access the new FlexBook and experience the improved interface, including teacher insights. We'll also see how each student's adaptive practice can be a great solution to providing personalized learning for your students. So I'm going to go ahead and take over.
While you're doing that, Carl, let me jump in real quick. My team told me during that video that I said January earlier instead of July. I apologize for that. All of your assignments should be due at the end of July. We start issuing certificates the first week of August, or the first 2 weeks of August, I guess, as people's work comes in. So not until January, unfortunately. I misspoke. I think Star and Katie are handling the Q&A pretty well, so I'll let you get on with this demo, and then we'll pause here in a few minutes to answer more questions.
That's fine. I don't mind the interruption. It's good. We're just playing. We're all very friendly around here. All right, so let's get into the new FlexBook 2.0 platform. As I said, just sit back and relax. Just let me do the driving for right now. So you're going to access the 2.0 platform from under the Explore menu on the home page. And you'll see FlexBook 2.0 up here in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and click on it right now. And it's going to get you inside of our new intelligent platform. It has arrived. In fact, it arrived last September. So it's been around for most of the last school year. And as we come down here, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see currently we have middle school and high school math, and we have the same in science, middle school and high school science. You're going to see that we're missing math 6 and 7 right here, and those are launching in the next few weeks. They are our newest, hottest new products, and they're currently in QA, which is quality assurance, to make sure they're the quality that we expect out of a CK12 product. We also will be introducing a pre-calculus book up here in the next month. And we currently are working on a calculus book. Of course, you have access to the original FlexBooks for both pre-calculus and calculus. So let's go inside. This book is the Math 8 book. I love it because it's our newest one. It has the most features of anything. So you'll notice here that we've got a teacher edition available, and we have a little description of what it is. And then the rest of this table of contents looks pretty familiar. We've got a hierarchy menu that is available here. You'll also find more book details and related FlexBooks up here. But if you are teaching Math 8, this is the book that we expect you to use because it's the best book we offer. And even if you're not teaching Common Core, remember that most states that aren't teaching Common Core have adopted much of the ideas of Common Core, and so this would still be the same book. I know, for example, like Idaho and Alaska both chose not to implement Common Core because it's a dirty word politically, I guess, but they took the Common Core standards and changed nothing and then made them their own standards. So for most people, even around the world with different nationwide, you will see that this is a great way to learn, and we'd like you to go ahead and use it. So we're going to come in here now and go into a lesson. So understanding linear equations. So you click into the lesson, but before you start the lesson, I call this the start page. So anybody that's starting out learning linear equations, this is a great place to put them. And you might want to go ahead and offer them this link, and you can share that link on social media, and it's a great way to start, even if you're not using the whole FlexBook. But let's go inside the lesson in a second. Once we take a look at the lesson plan for this lesson, if you're signed in as a teacher, will show up. This does not show up for your students. And then here are some related modalities. So let's go inside. All right, so here we are inside the FlexBook 2.0 lesson. And if you're familiar with our original FlexBooks, it looks different. It's a much more streamlined lesson, and the interface is simpler. The first question up here is, would you like to assign this to your class? And of course, it gives me the option of CK12 class or even a class on Google Classroom. Later this summer, for our Canvas and Schoology users, you will be able to assign the CK12 FlexBook 2.0 lessons. So that integration is coming. If you didn't join the LMS talk this past week, it is available as one of the archives, and you can watch it and find out how is the integration for Schoology and Canvas going to work. So let's go back to the lesson. As you can see here, we've got the same highlighting and notation that's available on our original FlexBook. So I can come here and I can find a great statement like the equal symbol tells us blah, 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 and I can highlight that. And I can even change the color of that highlight if I want to a beautiful purple. The notation thing works the same too, where you've got, you can highlight a whole area and then make a note on it, like here, and I can write myself annotation. This example shows that the linear blah, 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 and save it. Once you've gotten all your notations and highlights, they all appear over in the toolbar under Notes and Highlights. And you can see everything from the lesson that we've highlighted or made an annotation about. And this is really useful if you want your students to study for a quiz or just to review their notes. This is a great place to start because it's all the things that they picked out themselves. All right, let's find out more about the CK12 lesson. And you'll notice that these lessons are chock full of interactives. And here, this is an interactive that we've programmed through GeoGebra and embedded inside of it. But we made this interaction specifically for this problem. The other kind of amazing thing is we have questions then, in fact, 3 questions that go along with this interactive that check for understanding. And the best part of these interactives is if the student doesn't get the correct answer, It gives them feedback specifically on what they did wrong and what they need to do differently. This is groundbreaking, and this is very exciting, we feel, because it makes our lessons engaging and interactive. You'll notice, too, I can't proceed forward until I get the correct answer, and I hope I found it quickly. I did, thank goodness. And let's go to the next question, which is the linear equation of level where each term has an exponent of, let's say 1, I don't know. Yes, you got it. So you can see this is how the student can understand, am I understanding the important parts of this lesson? Right now, with these inline questions, the teacher's not given feedback, but soon we hope to be able to give teachers feedback on these questions and also on the practice when the students do that, which then can be translated. Maybe the computer will say, these 5 students are struggling, can I assign them this extra assignment? So there's some really wonderful things that are coming up with our FlexBook 2.0 lessons that's based on machine learning and intelligence. So you'll see in this lesson here, you've got so far 2 interactives. Here's a question based on testing for validity, and then we're done. And at the bottom down here, we have what I call CK12 secret sauce. It's our adaptive practice, meaning that it figures out what level the student's at, and then it offers questions to build their learning at that level. And you can see here as we preview this, it said the goal is to get 10 correct. All right, let's start practicing. Which of the following will make the equation? Okay, so maybe we want them to add up to 10, so I'm guessing that one. So I got the first one right. You'll notice that we offer hints, etc. And we can talk, well, there's a whole other session this morning about our adaptive practice. So I want to pause here and stop for now. I've done a little bit of practice, but let's go back to the exciting lesson in the FlexBook 2.0 platform. So one more thing that I want to point out is here at the bottom, you have the option of selecting a language. And these are all the Google languages that it can instantly translate to. So I'm going to choose a language that many people speak, and we're going to choose Spanish. The number 2 language spoken in the world, what I read the other day. But you can see everything's beautifully translated. And the benefit of this is that it helps our students with different home languages be able to get to the meaning of what we're trying to teach. And I've been in classrooms where I see students using CK12 on their phone in their home language, and then they put the English version on their computer or on their Chromebook, for example. And this way they have the academic language being built by seeing it in English on their Chromebook, but they're still getting understanding from going to a browser in their home language. And you can see that they've got quite a few languages there. One of the languages I happen to speak is Chichewa, and that was one they recently added, and I was very excited to hear. Bonus points to anybody without Googling it in the chat window. Tell us, where do they speak Chichewa? So I'm going to go back to English, though, for the benefit of everybody. And the other thing that I want to show you is our toolbar over here. You can find related content here, meaning this is content that we've chosen that specifically supports this lesson and that the students have access to. As I said before, the lesson plan will not be viewable by your students if they're logged in as students. And then we have attached resources, and we can be talking about some of these other things later. But the nice thing about all of this is that it's a really powerful learning platform. And not only can you learn math and science here, but our users have created other books on the FlexBook 2.0 platform, for example, in history or social studies, that take advantage of the great intelligence. So that's where we are right now. I think we're going to probably pause here, and let's go, Lindsay. Do we have any questions, or am I doing too good a job?
There are always some questions, and these are kind of coming in some pretty significant buckets here. Let's go back to the very beginning. So a lot of questions came in on what content do you guys have available? Do you have K through 5 content? Why am I only seeing some subjects in FlexBooks 2.0? So maybe start from the beginning about what our core offerings are and what they're going to find.
Sure. Yeah. So we have introduced this new platform, and that's where we're going to be bringing everybody. But we are 35 people in Palo Alto, California. And so we can't do this quickly, but we're doing it as quickly as we can. So you'll notice that you have access. Let's go back to the CK12 homepage. And you have access to content this way. So on the homepage, you can find math content, which is mostly questions and videos for elementary grades. And here you'll find some science FlexBooks that were put together by one of our partner districts, Polk County in Florida. Beyond that, though, we offer a variety of other things, and you can click through to that, including content that our users have created, which is outstanding. So we encourage you to use this browse page, or you can come down here to the bottom and you can browse using like our college books here and things. But I would start by choosing this here. Most of what we have is middle school and high school STEM subjects, so math and science. And as quickly as possible, we'll go back to the FlexBook 2.0 platform. We have been translating this content into the FlexBook 2.0 platform. You can take anything you find on the CK12 platform, even if it's an original FlexBook, and you can easily translate it into the FlexBook 2.0 platform.
Okay. Also, a lot of questions surrounding accessibility. Yes, we are accessible across pretty much any device, from phones to tablets to your MacBook to your Chromebook. We should work across all browsers. Some of our interactives are designed to need a little bit of a larger screen, so you might have trouble accessing our simulation on a phone, but it should work okay on a larger iPad. But all of our books are available through that mobile browser. Carl, a hot topic was when you showed highlighting and taking notes. A flurry of questions came in. And what can the teacher see? Where do these live? Can the students print them? So why don't you talk again about the logistics of our highlighting tool?
Sure. Currently, the highlighting that I'm in the wrong lesson. Currently, the highlighting that happens here is stored in the student's version, okay, and is not shared with the teachers. It's one of the future insights that we hope to be able to implement to maybe show a heat map of where everybody's highlighting, etc. We just haven't gotten there yet, but that's the kind of thing that this teacher insights will be able to offer in the future if the content is on the FlexBook 2.0 platform. But right now, the idea here is that the student is customizing and highlighting their personal version of the book. And if you want to see them, what I would suggest is have the student take a picture, for example, of the highlight, or you can come over here and have them like take a picture of this over here and offer that to you. But it is a learning tool for the students, teaching the students how to academically approach text that has been presented as part of the curriculum. So we know this is a skill that the students need tools with, and our highlighting and annotation tools are all a part of those. So if you in your version see highlighting, it came from you and nobody else currently.
Okay, I'm going to take the screen back over here and we're going to go on to the next section. But you did have a few guesses in the chat window, like Peru. So do you want to unveil to everybody while I'm taking back over the screen here about your language?
Okay, Chiche was spoken in Southern Africa, in the country, and there's more than one country, mostly in the country of Malawi, and where Madonna has adopted 2 of her kids from, and then also a little bit in Zambia and Tanzania. I spent 2 years as a Peace Corps volunteer teaching math in Malawi, so I can say, Inedine Opoziti wa Masamu, which means I'm a math teacher. There you go. All right, well, to get started, the most important step is choosing the right FlexBook 2.0. We've worked hard to make this process easier for you. And once again, we've brought everything together all in one place instead of making you search all over for it. We offer 3 different ways to get started with the FlexBook 2.0 platform. The best way is to start with an existing CK12 2.0 book, and those are the books that I showed you there on that page. These books and lessons have been specifically written for the 2.0 platform and take advantage of the latest learning technologies. The best way to see our 2.0 offerings is to go to ck12.org/flexbooks. Here you'll find our latest middle school and high school books for math and science. Our users have also created 2 FlexBook 2.0. While most of these books are variations of the CK12 books, some are newly created in content areas beyond math and science. And in a moment, we'll use the CK12 search bar with a 2.0 filter to find these books. Finally, you can create a blank 2.0 and add in your own content or get content from other FlexBook 1.0 and 2.0 lessons on CK12. So let's go back live and let's go see all of this in action. So we should be on my screen at this point. And as I said, let's go find the CK12 books. If you're anywhere on CK12, click on the icon in the upper left-hand corner, and that gets you to the home page. And then finally, from the Explore button in the drop-down menu, FlexBooks 2.0. And you'll see you have access to a lot of other great CK12 content, but right now we're doing FlexBook 2.0. So let's say I'm a physics teacher and I want to use CK12. So I'm going to go click this here. And maybe the first thing that I'm going to do is say, oh, yes, this is exactly what I needed. Wow, thank you, CK12, for doing all this great work. I'm going to add it to my library. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is add it to my library right there using the drop-down Choose menu. And then it says I did it, yay. And you can always access your library by coming up here and you can see your classes and libraries and other things. Okay, so that's how you find a CK12 book. And then if I were going to customize it, I can come in right here and customize it. Yeah.
This came up a little bit earlier of a user saying she couldn't see the customize button. And I think we're finding that if you have logged in into a student account, you're not going to see that customize button, but you need to be a teacher account. So you can check that under your profile settings if you're not seeing the customize button.
Great. And I'll show you how to customize in just a little bit. But this is how we start using the CK12 books. And then you can see that's the variety of books there. But here's what I want to show you next. We can search on our site. So for example, world history. This is a subject area that CK12 doesn't have any content on. And so I'm going to search for world history. Now, this is the part I need you to all really pay attention on because it's a lot of secret sauce all of a sudden. Yes, we've got world history here. But what I want to show you down here is we want to look for world history that's only a FlexBook 2.0 because the richest, best content is now in the 2.0 platform where all the intelligence can happen. The other thing to do is it didn't find much world history here. So you need to click on community contributed. And if I click on community contributed, you're going to see a variety of world history books developed by our partner district partners. And you can take a look here. It's bringing up, you can see some other things, but you've got a great world history book in the 2.0 platform right here. And looking at this, I could say, this is all fantastic. And once again, I'm going to quickly add it to my library so that I don't have to find it again. It'll just be part of my library. Finally, the last thing is you can start your own blank FlexBook. And you do that by going to your library. And then you want to create a new FlexBook 2.0. And let's say this one is for my class. Let's say I have a video production class. Class fall 2019, and I'm going to save it. So just like that, I've got a video production class book that I can start adding things into. I can pull lessons from other lessons on CK12. Maybe I want to start with some optics from a CK12 physics book that I can pull that lesson in. But there's 3 different ways that we've seen is that you've got CK12 books, you've got books from our users, or you can start with a blank one.
A few of our users have been asking about when they might want to still use original FlexBooks instead of using the new 2.0 platform.
It's a very good question. So you should never be using our original FlexBooks. You should always be using them in the 2.0 platform. So that might mean that you need to pull in lessons that you've been using in the 1.0, but you give them to your students in 2.0 because 2.0 is an intelligent learning platform, and we offer you teacher insights. So make sure that you're using CK12 through the new platform to take advantage of this. And as a reminder, they've got interactive lessons, simplified interface, interactive practice built into each lesson, curated modalities, and you will be able to get a PDF download. So there's absolutely no reason that you need to work in our old platform, and there's a lot of great reasons why you can continue. Okay, our users integrate CK12's platform into their teaching and learning in a variety of ways, and let's see some of these ways. You can use CK12 as your core curriculum or as supplemental. Some schools use a FlexBook 2.0 and then assign individual lessons and their associated practice, or specifically created questions that we call a quiz. It's their core curriculum, and the CK12 platform works well to deliver great content and offer personalized learning. Finally, you can choose to customize the FlexBook 2.0 to create the best possible content for your students. Other students use the core curriculum other than CK12, but is still supplemented by a CK12 companion FlexBook. Of course, any of the CK12 modalities can still be assigned individually. While CK12's FlexBook 2.0 can be used as is with no changes, the best possible content comes when you customize a FlexBook 2.0 to exactly meet the needs of your students. You'll be amazed this is easier than you think, and the results are great. One of the reasons to customize is so that you end up with a book that exactly meets your scope and sequence. Students and parents can easily see where the class is progressing through the book. No more jumping around to get to the next lesson. Another benefit of customizing is you can improve lessons with your own content. Add in your own activities right into the lesson. Let's say you flipped your classroom and made a short videos that the students watch as homework. You can embed these videos directly into your FlexBook 2.0. So also imagine a FlexBook that can collect content from other teachers at your district or school, and everybody can add their best things into the lesson. So, instead when a teacher moves away or retires, you don't lose all their content. We've already created a platform that brings the best content together. Also, customizing your content to localize is really great. Imagine seeing pictures of your community, of your school, of your surrounding area as part of your curriculum is a way to engage your students. And finally, one of the best ways to customize your FlexBook is to include student work that becomes part of the curriculum. Instructional videos made by students can be powerful learning tools. And we'll talk about more ideas like this in the teaching strategy session, which is, I think, on Thursday this week. Check your local listings. Up next is a demonstration of customizing a FlexBook 2.0. We'll show you how to rename the books, reorder the scope and sequence, edit a lesson, and add in additional content. So let me go ahead and share my book again. And here we are, and let's go back to the physics book, because I think let's say I'm a physics teacher and I want to go get the CK12 book. Now, we're going to do this, and I really want you to watch how easy this is. This is the magic of digital right here. So here's CK12's book. And at Carl's High School, I'm going to teach physics. They named the high school after me. It was really nice. All I have to do is highlight customize and click on that, and it puts me into an editing environment where I can put, let's do Carl's High School Physics FlexBook 2.0. Let's just call it Flex. I don't need to say FlexBooks. All right, so let's save that. And as simply as putting a different name on it, that's now my book. And I've got a URL at the top that I can share with students, parents, other teachers, and they can all see my book. And I've begun the customization process. The nice thing on CK12 is that you can go ahead and do as much customization as you want, but I strongly encourage anybody using a CK12 book to at least rename it so the kids feel like it's your book, okay? Of course, the next thing you're gonna do is quickly change the sequence of this. Let's say I'm starting out with fluids because I do a really great couple of activities with my kids on. Then I'm going to do sound. I like doing some of the more tangible things first, so I can change the order of the chapters. Of course, I can even change the order of stuff in the chapters. Okay, I can bring the Doppler effect a little higher, can move sound waves down. And let's say there's fluids there, and there's a fluid pressure. But let's say I start with this interesting lesson on ultrasound. I can even move it from this chapter up to this chapter up here and have it appear there. So you can see, you can do a whole level of customization. And then you can even go into the lesson and change anything about this. And I'm not going to do much about this right here, but I want you just to see how easy it is. That name is beautiful. And I go in, and there's my lesson. And let's say I'm going to add a new paragraph. This is a submarine one. So off the side of Palo Alto, we have the bay, which uses submarines and blah, 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 blah. I can change the picture to have it include that. And I can really get my students into this lesson by offering something localized. You can see that the editing bar here is very similar to what you use with Google Docs or even Word. So it's not going to be a hard process. And when you're done, we click finalize, and voila. My lesson is now live for my students. And you'll learn more about this in advanced FlexBook editing that's also available this week. So I want to show you too how we can find other content and add it into this lesson. So of course we can go to the search bar, and what do we say here? Ultrasound. Let's go do that. And let's say there's an ultrasound lesson from physical science from middle school that I know about and I've looked at before. It's a pretty basic one, but it's a really good one. And I want to add this into my lesson for the students because I know they didn't get a very strong foundation on this in middle school. So I'm going to add to a FlexBook, and I'm going to choose Carl's High School FlexBook. And it will be added into the FlexBook that I was just putting together. So really briefly, you've seen me rename a FlexBook, and then I've changed the scope and sequence, and I edited a lesson. I can even add in content from other lessons on CK12, whether it's an original FlexBook or indeed it's a FlexBook 2.0 lesson. So I'd like to pause here. I know I've given you a lot of information, and once again, let's go ahead and take some questions.
Yeah, this is an interesting session because for some of you, this is kind of your first introduction to CK12. And since we've unified all of our resources through the FlexBook 2.0, you're seeing adaptive practice, you're seeing some of our other modalities. So a lot of questions that are coming in are kind of specific to those where we do have separate in-depth sessions on those. So if you're interested in assignments and how that interacts with either CK12 classes or learning management systems, you would want to jump on one of our assignments webinars or watch the recording. If you are a Google Classroom or a Canvas or a Schoology user and you want specifics on what assignments through the FlexBook 2.0 look like for those students, you might want to attend one of our LMS breakout sessions. There's still 2 coming up this week, or again, watch the recording on those. But Carl, some things that are coming up here. Well, let me just take a couple of, somebody was asking about what they can embed, and truly our embed box, you can embed anything that you can pull an embed code from. So oftentimes that's a video like a YouTube or a Vimeo video, but that's also, if you've ever noticed on Google Slides or even a Google Sheet, they have an option to publish to web where you can pull an embed code for that as well. So really anything with an embed code should be able to work with our books. Lots of questions about, can I delete chapters? Can I change a chapter title? And you can do all that. Carl showed you how to shuffle things, to rearrange. It's as easy as dragging and dropping, giving things a new title. So somebody said, can you show me how to change the name of the course? So actually he's changing a chapter title right now. But yeah, you can change the name of anything. He can change Carl's High School Physics to something else at the top. That's going to be the first thing that you're asked to do when you press customize on a new book. I like in the chat window too that somebody said, I'm realizing that my church could use this system for membership classes or student ministry. And absolutely, we are a platform that you can use for whatever you want. Even better that we're a free platform. So in our community contributed and non-STEM session later this week, we're going to talk about exactly that, about people using our platform for not math and science, but for some other subjects as well, or use cases. I'm going to show you an example from a lacrosse book of, coaches using it. So definitely a lot of potential here. Carl, another trend in questions has to do with standards. Can you talk to them about what they'll see in the way of standards with our books?
Yeah, you'll see here that we've listed standards alignment up here in the table of contents page. You can also go back to the home page, and under the Explore menu, you're going to find both Common Core and NGSS listed here. And let's go use, for example, Common Core Math. And this is where you're going to find all the standards. For example, I always use 8.G.3, which is geometry 0.3. And you can, here it is. And there's an A in there too. Sometimes they put, but for describe the effect of dilations, translations, etc. So these are all of the concepts which match that Common Core standards. And you can have direct access to the concept page based on that. You'll find all this outstanding concepts based on that. You can also type 8.G.3 into our search bar, and you'll find content based that way. So dilations, etc. So these are all modalities that have been tagged with that standard. And so, for example, here's a lesson on reflections in the 2.0. So this is actually the teacher's edition there that will get you into the lesson. But there's a lot available for standards. And we would love to be able to add in more content. I've been talking to people about IGCSE and International Baccalaureate, and we would love to be able to have more content. You take our content and adjust it for whatever content you use in the world, the part of the world that you come from. We'd love to have that represented on our site too.
I don't know if you can go back to the book where you just added the ultrasound lesson, but about 3 people said, where did that lesson end up? They want to see where that ended up, and then how, just real quick again, how you selected a resource and added it to that book.
Sure. So let's go back to my library, and there's the book that I just made. And then if you go, we always add additional content at the bottom, and you can see it's not in a chapter right now. It's at the bottom, but I can drag this up. When I click edit, I can drag this up and put it wherever I need it. So for example, on this one, let's go in here, there it is. And I can just put it up inside here. I might even let's go put it in harmonic waves. That's actually kind of interesting. Let's open that guy up and let's move it up inside here. And you can see it beautifully puts it up inside when I hold it the right way, and I'm not holding it the right way right now. That's just great. All right, there it is. So it becomes, it's a little tricky as you saw there, but you can get it exactly into the right chapter that you need to. All right, I think what we're gonna need to do, Lindsay, were you gonna say something?
Let's just take another question here real quick. Okay. Somebody wanted to see the translate again. Can you quickly show them where to find the translate button?
Sure, let's go into this brand new, well, actually, let's get out of editing. Let's save all this. And let's go into the page here. I don't remember which lesson it was. It was something like, there it is. All right, there's my new ultrasound lesson that I got from Start. All right, so on any of our lessons, you come down here, and in many of our other modalities, you just go to the bottom, and you'll see the Google Select Language. And this time, let's go into the world's most popular language, Chinese. So number 1, Chinese. Number 2, Spanish. Number 3, English, in that order. So here we go. Here's the lesson in Chinese. Very exciting, but I'm going to get off of it. Otherwise, everything on the whole page is in Chinese, and I don't read Mandarin very well. So let's go back to a language I read. Okay, our final section today is publishing and sharing your FlexBook 2.0. After you've gotten your FlexBook 2.0 together, it's time to achieve C K12's mission and share it with the world. The first step is to select Publish from the Table of Contents page. It's under the Choose menu. After you've customized it, then the menu has Edit, and it also has Publish. And this allows anyone in the world to search and find your CK12 book. And this helps everybody because, you know, we don't want to keep reinventing the wheel. So it's really important that you publish and share your great work that you've done in order for other people to be able to use it. You can share your book by sending the URL to others. But when sharing it, make sure you copy the URL, but remove the version number if it's there at the end. Sometimes if you've recently saved, you're going to see a version number right here at the end. Don't include that version number, and just by doing the version with the URL without the version number, it will always point people to your most recent version of that book. You also might consider creating a tiny URL like Carl Unified School District Science Grade 6. Okay, that's a great way to get people into the right book. Even we've seen in classrooms, create a QR code that students can point their camera phones at, and it will bring up your book. So this is all really great ways to do that. Also, once you have that URL, please send it out to other teachers at your school, or even share it with district officials like maybe a math or science TOSA, or any other kind of coach that you have, and share it so that other people can take advantage of the great work that you've done. Beyond that, I encourage you to share it on Facebook and on Twitter. Make sure you use the hashtag CK12 certified, OER, and Go Open are great ones. In my teaching strategies, I really talk more about how to use Twitter as a great resource of content. So if you're not using Twitter professionally right now, you're missing out. And I'll teach you on Thursday how to do that. All right. You might be aware of our schools page, but it's another great area to find books. Like here, our great district partner, El Paso Independent School District, has created over 30 books on CK12. Juan Cabrera, their superintendent, has vowed they're never buying a book again. And meanwhile, they have people that are really making this happen within their district. And I think if you haven't seen some of these books, including AP books that are fully available for you to use in your district right now. So go to ck12.org/schools. The Shareaplane is a very basic way of sharing content. It's simply, hey, look at this. This does not create an assignment. It doesn't, you know, that has to be done using the assign button. But it's an easy way to share on Google Classroom, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest if you find great stuff here on CK12. Another great thing here is the CK12 Cafe discussion forum. And this is where we give you the opportunity to discuss with other educators in the Jumpstart for Educator program. Even today, after this ends, you can go over to the Jumpstart forum, introduce yourself, tell them what you hope to do on CK12, ask questions, and get advice from other math educators. In addition to this, we also have math and science quarters where students can ask math questions and science questions. We even have a homeschool forum for homeschool parents to get together and share ideas of things that you want. So I really want everybody to take advantage of what this offers. And these are some great conversations going on right now. So we have done so much today. And what I'm hoping is you have a better understanding of the FlexBook 2.0 platform on CK12. We've now moved FlexBooks from a linear digital textbook to an intelligent learning platform. At the heart of the platform is artificial intelligence and machine learning, which offers a personalized journey for each student. Everything you need and everything the students need are all in the lesson. No more searching around the whole CK12 website. All the content has been specifically created and curated for that course. And the FlexBook 2.0 platform can be accessed from any device using a browser pointing to ck12.org. This means your smartphone, tablet, iPad, Chromebook, laptop, desktop, anything with a browser, you can use CK12. However you access CK12, know that your technology partners are working together, and we can offer you the best way to enable each student's personalized journey.
Okay, because we're getting close to that hour mark, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of wrap-up information here, but we would love for you to continue to populate the Q&A. I know there's a couple of questions in there now, and we'll come back on in just a minute and answer any of those questions for you. But do want to make you all aware of a few things. This is just a reminder about that resource page. Can be accessed at the tinyurl.com/CK12 FlexBooks 2019. It has some useful information on it for you. Then the session assignment. Again, you folks who've been around for a bit, you know how this works, but if you're new and just starting the program today, this is a reminder that you'll want to visit the Getting Started with FlexBooks and the 2.0 platform section of the program, FlexBook, and submit the assignment. So don't forget, you can scroll down this page and you can preview all of the questions that we're going to ask you in the quiz module off to the side. Do make sure that you're comfortable with all of the questions, because once you start the quiz, you'll need to complete it in one sitting. You can always retake it if you aren't satisfied with your score. And then don't forget to return to the lesson page and press turn in to submit your work. On that page, you'll also see a link that says watch now. If you need to rewatch any sessions, ones that you've attended, or you want to get some information from sessions that you haven't attended, we have a playlist going for the Certified Educator Program 2019. It's directly linked from every page in that book. Or if you're a YouTube person, you can go to CK12 Foundation and follow us, and you'll be notified when these new videos are posted. But you can rewatch those. We usually have them up within hours, but guaranteed within 24 hours, you'll have access to those videos. And then we also have a give feedback button on every single page of our book. This is one form that you're able to fill out. We love getting your feedback. We want to know what went well, what we could be doing better. We read every single comment you put on there, and it's actually caused some changes in some of our webinars. Like, you'll notice my mouse is very big. Somebody said that my mouse was too small and I should make it bigger. That's easy to correct. So give us feedback. It helps us in preparing. The direct link, in case you need it, to the feedback form is another tinyurl.com, and it's CK12 Feedback 2019. For any and all sessions, you're welcome to give us feedback. Jumpstart at ck12.org is the email address that you'll want to use as you guys have questions for our team. Following us on the socials is at CK12 Foundation. We're using the hashtag CK12 Certified, particularly on Twitter if you want to tweet at us. And those of you who need to go, we're now at the time where you are welcome to leave if you need to leave this webinar. For the rest of you, keep populating that Q&A, and I'm going to kick it back over to Carl, who's going to share his screen and start demoing any questions you have.
Fantastic. Once again, if you're leaving us right now, thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to having you part of more sessions. To the rest of you that are staying on, we're going to go through and answer all your questions, but I do have to give a quick shout out to both Katie and Star, who've answered 122 questions during today's webinar. That's crazy. So they're going to be done and wipe their brow a little bit. But I wanted to get started here. There was some question here. If you create your custom content, how do you do your own practice and quizzes? And I will say there's a really great webinar that my dear friend Lindsay leads called Customizing for Non-STEM Courses. And you might want to watch that because it has some great ideas for that. But the idea here is you're going to create, if there's no practice available on CK12, then you create your own practice questions in the form of a quiz. But sometimes you can, if you have a lesson here, it might be semi-related to questions that we already have, okay? And so when you create, if there's not any practice associated here, it's gonna say, it'll give you a little message here like add in your own practice or quizzes, and then you'll see some steps there. So just try using that. The more questions you create, the smarter the CK12 platform becomes. All right, Lindsay, what's another question for us to deal with?
Some program-related questions that Star and Katie are covering, but one that's flagged here is, did I miss the editing best practices, or is there something on your site that lists them?
Sure. One of the things I really strongly suggest you do is attend the Advanced FlexBook Editing, where Katie's going to share a lot of best practices and just general good ideas on how to create your own content. But the idea here is that, we offer you the platform, and please come with your own content and then, really present your content in a beautiful way.
Okay, another one has to do with publishing. Like this user says they want their students to see a chapter that's finalized, but maybe not the whole year ready. So talk about kind of best practices with just creating a book if you want a slow rollout of what people can actually see.
Sure. So you're in charge of when it's published and shared so that it's searchable. But meanwhile, on any lesson that you create, you can go in. I'm just going to randomly pick a lesson here. And what you can do is you can save it as a draft. And anything in draft mode they don't see what changes have been made in draft mode. Okay, so if you're doing half a year, for example, it would be my suggestion that you go and add them into the live book as needed, and that's the best way that keeps people seeing things in the future. But just know that the draft mode is available too for you to go and offer a version that is not viewable yet.
Okay, I currently teach in a BYOD district. How friendly is this platform for students who must access via smartphone only options?
Well, as we say here in California, it's super friendly. We've got everything optimized for the Chrome browser, but as long as they have a browser that, preferably Chrome, they can access it, and we've taken into account that a lot of our students access us through their mobile device. Even the adaptive practice can be done that way. The only limitation is some of the Plix and simulations who require a larger real estate you don't have that on a 4-inch screen. But otherwise, almost everything from CK12 works on that. Alrighty, well, on behalf of everybody at CK12, we are so glad that you joined us today, and we really look forward to seeing the wonderful FlexBooks that you create on our platform 2.0. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow.